Now, the city's most visible critics are the protesters camped outside St Paul's Cathedral and close to the Stock Exchange. A warning that the following pictures do contain some flash photography. Well, today, Ken Costa, who's the former chairman of investment bank Lazard, led an event that saw Financial Services Authority Chief Executive Hector Sanz holding private talks with 10 members of the Occupy London group. They discussed reforms to regulations, banking and ethics. Well, joining me now to discuss all of this is Ken Costa. He was also the Vice Chairman of UBS Investment Bank and is now Professor of Commerce at Gresham College in London. Good evening to you, Ken Costa. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about today's meeting and first of all why you thought it was important to go and talk to some of these protesters from Occupy London.
Well, I think it's a very important meeting. Firstly, because although the protesters are there, they have different language, wear different clothes. Many of the issues that they are raising are many of the issues that I talk to amongst my friends and colleagues in the city at large. And the meeting today was very focused, some challenging, very intelligent questions that were directed to Hector Sanz. So very important that the regulator is seen to be engaging with all members of the community, particularly this one, which is quite visible at the moment.
It's important to reconnect with these people, but you implied there's shared ground. So what can come out of it? What can you offer them?
Well, the interesting thing was just a week ago, a similar number of people, 300 people at the Business in the Community, which had their AGM where I spoke at, and the issues of concern to them of the markets, the roles of shareholders, the environment, are the key issues that are also being faced by this group of people. And what I call the informal sector, those who are demonstrating, those who've got different views, and the formal sector, those who work within the structures of the city. The first task is really to bring people together and to understand and hear what is being said, and today was a great step in that direction.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you will have heard a lot of the views of these people while you were there, but certainly when I went down to talk to some of the protesters, there seemed to be a feeling amongst a lot of them that there were a lot of people in this country paying the price for mistakes made in the financial sector, in the city. And they feel that what might be a fair way of redressing the balance and solving some of the problems in the economy would be to introduce a financial transactions tax. What's your view on that?
Well, I think we have to be very clear about the financial transactions tax because many people wanted to do very different things. The Archbishop would like it to alleviate global poverty. Bill Gates would like to use it for alleviating sort of disease in Africa. And we know from the discussions in Europe that they want to use that as a way of a fiscal union in Europe. So I think one has to be extremely careful at what exactly this tax is supposed to do. I don't think it would be at all advantage for anybody working in financial services and the wider community in the UK if it goes ahead as the weekend seems to have it on the agenda.
So just very briefly, you're against it, whatever the reason, whatever the cause and where the money would go?
Unless it's global, as the Prime Minister has and the Chancellor have said, unless it's global and put in by everyone else, it becomes another cost to the investor. And the way in which one wants to distribute taxes is a matter for sovereign governments. And therefore the government can determine whether the sector is properly taxed or not and utilise those taxes for whatever they were elected to do.
Ken Costa, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for talking to us this evening.
Thank you very much.